we built something cool again in our Shiny Binder app, and it is this price chart. What can you do with this chart? Well, you can look at the cards here. You also have the option to see sealed data, which I'm not going to click right now because I need all of this to show. And you also have this toggle feature over here, which says date on one side and days from release in the other. And what does this do? When you click on date, well, it changes the x-axis on this chart to feature the dates like March 9th or April 4th. But if you toggle it to days from release, then it literally changes to days from release. So today is day 93 from the day of the release of Ascended Heroes. If you go on day 23 right here, it means this point on the chart is 23 days from the release. So you could literally use this feature to see how many days it took for a card to do something, go up, go down, whatever, since its release. And then, of course, we have a timeline either to see all the price movements from the last 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, last year, or all time. And I just chose 6 months to make sure I captured everything for Ascended Heroes, because that is what we are observing today. And then this feature here, toggle feature, very important. You can see the y-axis as the price, so to see price changes, or probably more importantly, it's the percentage change. Right here, you can see percentage changes and you see how it changes. And percentage changes shows you the volatility of the market much better than just the price. And it definitely helps you see much clearer whether or not a card is going up or going down or what the trend of the card is. The final feature I'm going to show you for our chart is this. It's a comparison toggle or menu. You can compare up to 5 cards on this chart, in addition to seeing the average hit price and the average card price. So the average card price, if I click this here, it adds this blue line. This blue line then represents the average card price, which is calculated by adding all the values of every card in the entire set. And that includes commons, uncommons, reverse holos, and so on. And then dividing that by the total number of cards. Average hit price just does the same thing, except only calculating the hit cards, so the double rares and above. But anyhow, that is not what I'm going to talk about. What I am talking about is the cards that you should be watching for Ascended Heroes, or what I think you should be watching. I am definitely going to watch them. And it is not the 5 cards that I have right here, which is the top 5 most expensive cards in Ascended Heroes. It's Mega Gengar SIR, Pikachu SIR, Mega Dragonite, the Charizard YEX, and Team Rocket's Mewtwo. And according to my chart, I'm going to go to the percentage change. I'm not going to really pay attention to the price. Based off of the percentage change, Pikachu definitely gained the most. So right here, Pikachu is this bright green line. So from about, 42 days from release, I'm going to do dates right now. Let's do dates. So from about March 13th, in a way, yeah, Pikachu actually overtook Mega Gengar in terms of its change in price, the percentage change. It just skyrocketed, essentially. Granted, it took a bit of time, like a few weeks, but it gained much more than Mega Gengar did, particularly in recent days, like in mid-April. We also saw gains with the rest of the SIRs, and they have been pretty steady gains. And again, this is percentage change, but you could see that they were steadily increasing. Mewtwo and Charizard suffered a little bit. They were declining for a time, but then they started gaining from about March 29th and up to today. But now the problem is everything seems to have stalled, especially for these high-priced cards, and no wonder. It's because they're extremely expensive. Who has the money to keep buying these cards? There's only so much money to go around. Currently Mega Gengar is sitting at 1.4K, Pikachu at about 1.1, Mega Dragonite at 850, Mega Charizard at 629, and Team Rocket's Mewtwo at 517. They're kind of not changing very much from those points. So this next tab compares the next 5 most expensive cards. It's the other Pikachu EX, Mega Dragonite no, not SAR, MAR, Lily's Clefairy, and Zoroark and Mega Feraligatr. Yeah, I mean, they all suffered at first, dipping down, and then they started gaining again. And then now they're kind of stagnant. They're kind of hovering. And I'm looking at price at the moment, and percentage change and Zoroark gained quite a bit, as well as Pikachu, but they're starting to stall. So we're kind of in this period right here on the very right side. I can do 30 days and it'll probably be a little more clear. Here we go. Yeah, we're over here. Nothing is really going on. There's just, maybe steady increments of change, but for the most part, they're just kind of in a holding pattern. So this chart is the next 5. There's Mega Meganium. I think this is the SIR. Yeah, SIR. And then we have the Mega Frostlass SIR, Gengar MAR, Stevens Metagross SIR, and then the Psyduck IR. So those are in a holding pattern as well. In terms of percentage change, Psyduck gained a lot, as well as Mega Frostlass, but now they kind of dipped down. Mega Frostlass more than Psyduck. And they're kind of, I don't know, maybe just steadily starting to hover. Psyduck looks like still has a bit of a gain to it, but literally everything else is just, it's just sitting around. And if we keep going to the next chart, which is over here, which shows the next 5 most expensive cards, Grimmsnarl, Mega Emboar, Fezandipiti, Scrafty, Bellibolt. Wow, it actually kind of looks like they're consolidating to one price. This is what it looks like. Regardless, they're all pretty close to one another. Mostly in the $70 at the moment. Going to the percentage change, yeah, there's some diversion towards the end, but it's not like they're doing anything too significant. Mega Emboar gained some, as well as Mega Scrafty, but then Grimmsnarl, Fezandipiti, and Bellibolt actually declined just a little bit, but they're also kind of holding at the moment. And on and on. This is the next 5, still kind of doing nothing. This one is the next 5. Kind of doing nothing, but also there's a bit of a decline for certain ones. And this is really where I would start watching some cards. And the cards that I would watch is actually a lot of the IRs. And you certainly don't have to agree with me on this. I'm just curious what's going to happen. But Ascended Heroes is a special set, and the last time we had a special set was Black Bolt and White Flare. And for whatever reason, Black Bolt, White Flare IRs are on a tear. And they've been on a tear for, I think, a couple months now. If we go to TCG Player, for example, so let's say I'm on Minccino. This is from Black Bolt. Look at this chart from a year ago. Boom! I don't know what's going on, but definitely within the past 3 months, there's been a steady increase in price, steady gain. Where 3 months ago, Minccino was $11 and now it is about $22. And this is practically the kind of chart that is found in really all of the IRs and the SIRs, I think. Oh, actually, I don't know about the SIRs. I've been paying attention to the IRs. Let's look at End's Plan. That's an SIR. Yeah, okay. Wow. Not exactly the same as Minccino, but in the past 3 months is the same. It's been seeing an increase from 57 to 61, which isn't like a massive gain or anything. Not quite like Minccino, but it is a gain. How about let's look at Volcarona. I don't have this card. For some reason, this 3 month is showing nothing. But if we go to the 1 year, we see like in the past 3 months from that, we can see there's been an increase. There was $30 from March 16th to the 22nd. And now it's at $39. So this is happening to a lot of the IRs in Black Bolt and White Flare. And I kind of think it's, at its peak, and I'm starting to sell my cards. And again, Black Bolt, White Flare was the last special set. Ascended Heroes is another special set. And I'd say it is more significant than Black Bolt, White Flare because of the weight that the SIRs carry for this set. And what could that mean? It could mean that the IRs that are attached to this set could also have a really good run at some point, similar to Black Bolt, White Flare. And I don't think you should be running off and buying as many of the IRs from Ascended Heroes as you can. But right now, there is a cooling period for these IRs. Some of them are still in a decline. For example, like Dreepy and Cynthia Spiritomb. And there are more over here. Pretty much most of everything in this chart. Score Bunny, Team Rocket's Dugtrio, Bedeau, Banette, and Slurpuff, and so on. All of these IRs are in this steady decline, or they're kind of holding as well. And I think this is a good opportunity to consider which ones to pick up based off of what you think is going to go up at some point in the future. Now, all of this could actually tank and drop, but considering the fact that the next set is Chaos Rising, and then the next set after that is Pitch Black, and I'm not quite sure if any of those two can overshadow the splendor of Ascended Heroes. So at least for the next few months, Ascended Heroes is still going to be king of the crop. And so I would just be watching these IRs in Ascended Heroes, since these may have a good opportunity to run at some point, at least certain ones. Similar to how the last special set, Black Bolt White Flare, their IRs are having a good run. It is about, a year later. But as you've seen in these charts, let's go to Dwebble. This looks really cute. But as you can see in these charts, at some point, they just start going up and up and up. There was a short cooling period, and my guess is because, Ascended Heroes, everybody's paying attention to that, and so they're, selling off whatever cards that they have. But then, the cards actually go way past what it was in the beginning. Sure, there are a couple dips along the way, but in the end, holding was key to getting the most gains. Now, looking at Ascended Heroes cards, a lot of the IRs are really, really cool. And I wish I was able to pull more of them, but, Ascended Heroes is too popular, and I can't get my hands on anything at MSRP. And I'm not going to risk it. But it's definitely much better to just pick up IRs directly if I want to invest in some of these cards. And the IRs that I would watch are the ones that follow the 3 C's. I call it the 3 C's. One of them is character appeal. So the type of character that it is, a noteworthy, memorable character that everybody really likes and appreciates, tends to do really well, kind of like Pikachu. In this case, Mimikyu, Team Rocket's Mimikyu is one of them. Psyduck also is one, but granted, Psyduck is pretty high. And so I don't really want to pick up a card that's that high and still seems to be rising. I want cards that are falling, and I just want to watch them to see when I can enter, or if I want to enter the market. Mimikyu is this blue line. Okay, so Mimikyu is actually kind of stagnant. This may be a good time to pick up a Mimikyu, or, if you want to wait for a drop. I don't know if a drop will happen. That is fine too. But Mimikyu could be a pretty good card to pick up. Another good card is Erica's Tangela. I think this is still on a decline. So you can watch for it to continue declining. So here, this green line is Erica's Tangela. And this is price. I want to see percentage, actually. There we go. Yeah, so percentage, it's not really doing much. There seems to be just a very slow decline, but it's a lot of ups and downs and whatnot. Currently, it is sitting at about $24, minus 18.5% since 30 days ago. Or 90 days ago? 90 days ago. It's on 90 days up here. And then another one that has character appeal could be Cynthia's Spiritomb. I'm not entirely sure. Because Spiritomb, I don't think that's particularly popular, not like Cynthia's Garchomp, but it is Cynthia's Pokemon, so this is a maybe. Now, if you don't have character appeal, the next 2 C's that you can consider is, you could do it simultaneously, literally, is color appeal and cuteness appeal. And it sounds kind of ridiculous, but, bear with me. People like cute stuff. People like colorful stuff too. Things are designed really well or have really nice colors. And you have to think of Pokemon cards as artwork, art pieces that you can literally, they're not Van Goghs or anything, but they're kind of like Van Goghs and Mona Lisas. It's artwork that you could take home with you and put it in a binder. It's super personal and you could easily call it yours. You can't buy a Van Gogh. But you can buy a Pokemon card. So if you have something that has good color appeal, also cuteness appeal, bonus if it's both, then that card could do well. And one of them is Meryl right here. Meryl looks amazing. It's super charming. Look at that. And like I said, it's currently in a slow decline. I would say you can watch it. You could buy it now if you want, but I would definitely consider this a card to pick up. And a few others that are really good to watch is Dreepy, Score Bunny, Badoo, or is it Badoo, and Banette right here. Score Bunny looks really, really cute. Look at him. He looks so happy. And I love how the artwork is very simple, but that may be something that will be popular or more popular in the future. Dreepy as well. I know I pulled this card before for sure. Very minimalistic artwork. Dracloak also could be a good pick-me-up, made by the same artist as Dreepy, but color-wise, it is not as, I guess, cheerful as the Dreepy one, but still could be a good pickup. And then Badoo. This Badoo reminds me of Cleffa. Was that from Obsidian Flames? It looks really cute. This looks amazing. So this has good cuteness and this has good color. So this could be something that is worth watching. Currently, it is at a decline. A lot of them are being sold and sold for less and less, hence the decline. But still something to watch, because what we're watching for is where the bottom might be for a card. And if that card has potential to go back up, which I think Badoo does. Oh, another one with good character appeal. Team Rocket's Doug Trio. Just because it's Doug Trio, it is from the original 151. And it's Team Rocket. And there's Giovanni. And there's some Team Rocket grunts in the background too. So I really wish I pulled this card. I really wish I did. But alas, I did not. Banette. Banette is an interesting one, just because I don't think Banette is a popular Pokemon, but I would watch it because of the colors. This is a pretty cool design. Just saying. There's a little Mareep charm over here, and then there's a Soul Rock ornament hanging here. Lunatone. What was this? Mudbray? Mudbray, like a rocking horse type of Mudbray. This is neat. This is really neat. I would watch this because of the design. This design looks amazing. And I wish I pulled that card. Now, Iono's Wattrel, I'm not entirely sure if that is any good, because trainer cards typically don't do so hot. I don't know why. Yeah, I think it's dependent on the trainer plus the Pokemon, I guess. Unless you're Team Rocket. The bad guys apparently get more popularity than not. So I'm not sure if I would watch Iono's Wattrel. You can. You certainly can. Slurpuff is very, very pink. Maybe a little too pink. And maybe too pink for most people. Going to the next page. A couple more to watch. From this page, I'd say Metacham for sure. This looks really cool. Not gonna lie, this is cool. The colors are impressive. Metacham is doing some sort of meditative kick or something, but there's like an aura, literally an aura in this card. So I would definitely watch Metacham. I believe it's bottom out. Let me look for Metacham. Yeah, Metacham is in the last 5 right here. I didn't want to go any further or lower. Metacham is what color? Green? Okay. It's jumbled up with everybody else. Super percentage changes. Okay. Yeah. Metacham is just holding. That's really it. It's just stagnant like everything else on this chart. What else is here? Maywild, Beautifly, Numole, Misdreavus. So all of them are just in a holding pattern. So if they're in a holding pattern, it may be a good time to buy just because it's stagnant. It may be the bottom. Here's Misdreavus, by the way. Misdreavus looks really cool. It's kind of similar to, what was that one? Banette, just because it looks like a collage of stuff. I'm not sure what Misdreavus is doing here. There's like a spool of thread. What is this? Building blocks, this crystal, there's spider webs. It's a little confusing what's going on. So I'm not entirely sure if I would watch this card or not, but I would still much rather watch Metacham. You can definitely watch any other card that you want, but those are the cards that I would watch personally. And I would not do anything with the SIRs and the MARs, because a lot of those SIRs especially are really, really expensive. And, you know, when I invest in cards, the question I ask myself is in terms of doubles. Is this card more likely to double than that card? So, for example, Mega Gengar, 1.1k. No, right now it's 1.5k. 1.4k. $1,400. Is this Mega Gengar going to double to $2,800? Or is it going to be more likely that my Metacham, for example, is going to go from $6 to $12, which is also double? What is more likely to happen? Which one is most likely to gain the percentage that I would like to see in a card? That is a question you can ask yourself before putting your money into a card. You can also just keep your money in your wallet and just don't buy anything because, I don't know, everything is in a holding pattern. I think even perfect order is in a holding pattern. So it's almost like the market doesn't know what to do. And it is unable to speculate any further than the prices than they are now. I think Pikachu was the last major move, and that's about it. But, that kind of begs the question, what's going to move next? Because something is going to move. It's just a matter of what's going to move. In my opinion, I really like this quiet period. It just kind of helps to sit and think, carefully about what cards to pick up and what cards to not pick up. Definitely, I wouldn't touch the very expensive cards, the hundreds of dollars, cards or thousands of dollars, but the lighter cards or the cheaper cards, the IRs like Badeau or Banette and so on, Score Bunny. Watch for those. And again, you don't have to buy, but I think they are worth watching for sure. They could drop further. They really could. I don't know what's going to happen once Chaos Rising is released because we don't know how popular those cards are going to be. All we know is from Ninja Spinner, we have Greninja, we have the gold version, we have Mega Dragalge, and a Mega Floette, and Chinchino. That's really cute. That's a really cute SIR. Look at that. So Chaos Rising might throw a lot of things into the loop, or it might not. I don't know. There are some nice artwork in there, but it is, again, a pretty small set. So we'll see what happens. But again, definitely think about the character appeal, the 3 C's character appeal, the cuteness, as well as the color. Or I guess you could say design, but it's not a C. So I just said color. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the information. This is all my opinion, so you don't have to listen to any of it really. But if you already have an account with Shiny Binder, then this market chart will eventually be released. It is not currently released because we were testing a lot of things, and it's only applied to the Mega Evolution era cards at the moment. We will, of course, add it to every set that we have. But right now, it's just for Mega Evolution sets. And this is not the end to changes to the app. We're going to add some more to this market chart thing. But currently, I am really, really liking it. Definitely liking it a lot. Anyhow, that is it. I'll see you in the next one.